reincarnation. Many of us believe in reincarnation and many do not believe in it. The point is this: let's analyze the case of that someone who doesn't believe it. If instead reincarnation were a universal phenomenon, which exists, even if we are not aware of it, because the law of reincarnation does not require our approval of believing in it or not believing it to be valid. Let's assume that reincarnation exists, therefore, whoever believes in it or whoever does not believe in it, well, everybody will still be subject to its laws. Let me give you an example. Nobody can deny that when we come in this world we have called Earth, well, for 9 long months, we remain in the womb, and then come to light in the world we know. No one will ever deny, since the dawn of time, that in order to come into the world, first it is necessary to remain, this time, more or less equal for all of 9 months in the womb. Since it is not a theory, or an intuition, but a scientific and provable fact, then we all, without distinction, believe it and are super aware of it, that it is real data. But if one day a scientist will discover that reincarnation has rules, mathematically fixed, like or similar to the 9 months in the womb, then it will not mean that reincarnation begins to exist, or better to be true, just because it has been scientifically discovered and validated by scientists, but has always been scientifically existed. For example, until a few decades ago, it was quite not possible to know the sex of babies when they were still inside the womb, and many relied on people just to know in advance the sex of the unborn child, to the empirical forecasts of pendulums or sorceresses, or worse, it was said that the sex could be interpreted of the unborn child from the shape of the belly, whether round or long, and it happened that once out of 2 one could also guess either male or female. All over the world, there are frequently cases of children under the age of 6 who claim to remember their previous lives, and even who they had been, and where they would have lived. By the 6th year of a child, the mind, or soul if you prefer, remember and have memories of past lives, and then let's want to explain all this only with the highly developed imagination of these children. Some of these children claimed to have been, for example, an American aviator from World War II who was shotted by a Japanese ship in the Pacific Ocean. Or an Australian boy who claims to have been Princess Diana. Or another American boy who claims that in the previous reincarnation he lived in Scotland, or in those parts, and gave to the psychiatrist who analyzed him many details that only he, that is, the child, could have known. So psychiatrist and agreed with the family. The psychiatrist, he decided to go and check in Scotland, and, extraordinarily, all that the boy had told coincided with the house, the islet in Scotland, the dog, that there were still locals who remembered it, and the psychiatrist even found the sister of whom the child was said to be reincarnation. And this sister was now an elderly lady, but who confirmed all the memories of the child. If we refer to what we read in the statements of very important Indian gurus, such as Swami Yogananda, well, if someone die very young, then generally this person reincarnate within 3 or 5 years. If instead someone have lived a full life at just the right duration of 80 or 85 years, the interval then between one reincarnation and the other, well, it can be 50 or 60 years can elapse if someone have lived for 25 or 35 years, then it should pass between one life and another, well, about 20 years. But if, then you had lived a very good-natured life, in the sense almost like the saints, then 500 years could pass between one reincarnation and another, or between one life and another. But if someone really were a great saint, then it should happen that one does not return to being born again on earth, unless one decides to be reborn, and I repeat, one deliberately decides to be reborn again, to help humanity to evolve.